I think we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everyone who is joining us from the very start. Let's just see, because normally we would do like an intro thing where I'd have it like 2 minutes countdown, 2 minutes countdown, but it's easier just to kick off live immediately with this. I think it's simpler.
That is true. Do you want to know something amazing, Josh?
I always want to know something amazing, Callum.
There's no technical issues.
Has it worked really well?
It's just worked.
It just works. I've been playing Oblivion, the spirit of Todd Howard.
I've seen some clips from that.
The spirit of Todd Howard has taken over the stream, and it just works. All of Callum's not had any video issues so far today.
No, I haven't.
Streaming for a whole 45 seconds.
Yeah, a whole 45 seconds. Nothing's gone wrong.
We'll see what else happens. Cal, I know I ask this every week, but I enjoy asking it because it's the only time that I get to ask it when we both aren't working. How are you?
Okay. I am pretty good, actually.
Good.
I've been working a lot on a feature actually that I want to get your feedback on for Nightmare World.
Okay.
What do you feel about dynamic weather systems in games, specifically in MMOs?
Does it do anything? Because in Final Fantasy XIV, you've got weather, but it also affects what you can fish. So
yes.
In FF14, you've got a weather system, but you need to go to the Skywatcher in every city, and they will tell you what the weather conditions are going to be in every major part of the world. And then you can either catch certain pets when it's at certain temperatures, or you can only catch certain fish in certain cities when it's raining. So yeah, if there's a reason for it to be there, if there's a reason for it to be there beyond just graphics, then yeah.
I've been working on a feature with it that's really nice, and it's like dynamic snow piling up.
Oh yeah.
So every item in the game has snow actually stack up on it.
Okay.
And like coat it in white.
Okay.
And like the longer it's been snowing, the more of a pile of snow it builds on the items.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm actually really excited because when you mentioned snow, the area outside my house, there's like a kind of communal park because it's more like an estate. And last year, everyone was building snowmen. It was actually really nice. You'd wake in the morning.
Awesome.
Yeah, you'd look out the window and you'd just get snowmen everywhere. In fact, we've got a spare room, so as soon as it's snowing, mate, you can come around and crash. We'll wake up in the morning and we'll just build a snowman. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, we'll have a Tangent Tavern episode from your communal park building a snowman.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can probably get Wi-Fi from the park, from the house, so we'll just take like a phone outside or something and stream it. It'd be great. People are saying that I've shaved. No, actually, my beard fell out while playing Amnesia. That's what happened. Cal, have you finished Amnesia?
Ask me if I've started it.
Have you started Amnesia, Cal?
No.
Why not?
Since speaking to you, I've realised how few games I actually play.
Callum has played one game in his entire life.
Yeah.
It was Snake on a Nokia. That's what it was.
Yeah. Loved it. It was the best game.
You need to play Amnesia because I thought it's my job to play games. It's my job to finish this game. That did not make it any less scary.
No, I do want to play it.
I had to go and cuddle the dogs every 10 minutes. Like I would make This is why, if any of you were watching the Amnesia video and you thought, he's cutting these edits quite tight. There's only 10 seconds of action and then it cuts to another bit. That's because every 10 seconds I was just tabbing to the menu and going to hug the dogs because I hated it.
I really do want to play Amnesia, actually.
Yeah, it was.
I want to play a lot of horror games on stream for the next couple of days.
I mean, it's coming up to the spoopy season, so you have to do it.
It is.
You do have to do it.
It is, yeah.
I might end up watching streamers that have a 60 frame per second camera. This feels weird. Yeah, Echo, it probably will do. I'm only streaming at 30 frames a second because my camera's crap. I think I'm streaming at 30 frames a second, or I'm streaming at 60 but at 720. My camera's not the best, but this is a podcast, so it's okay. Cal,
I know that my camera's definitely 60 FPS.
Yes, Callum has a nicer camera than I do. It's true. I do need to buy a better camera at some point. That's my plan.
I'd recommend this one.
Which one is that?
The Elgato Facecam.
I've seen so many good reviews for that.
I'll tell you what the best part is. So I bought the Elgato ring light, and it's beautiful, right? It makes me look less tired, marginally. And I still got the C920, I think it is, like the go-to streamer cam for the last couple of years. But the ring light would just blow out the lens because of how bright it was. Well, this comes with like a little shroud around it, so that it doesn't take in the light from the ring light, or not, not too much, and it just works really, really well.
Saying that it makes you look less tired is the only way that you can advertise anything to any YouTuber ever.
Yeah, genuinely it is.
If someone just said, hey, get this camera, you'll look less tired, every Twitch streamer would just be on it straight away. I'm like, brilliant. Anything that makes me look awake, I'll be there straight for. So, for those of you who are new to the stream, this is the Tangent Tavern. I'm Josh, this is Callum Upton. Callum, tell them a little bit about you.
I am a YouTuber that covers scams, shitty games. What else do I do? I run my own devlog series, which there'll be another episode out on that in the next week or two.
Because you decided to make a game out of pure spite, didn't you?
I did, and it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
To make. I don't know about playing it yet. We'll get feedback on that soon.
Remember
But,
Remember when Dreamworld was released, the massive scam that Callum pretty much covered comprehensively? Well, everyone said to Cal, okay, if Dreamworld's not very good, you could do better. You couldn't make a better game, so he did, just out of spite.
Yeah, seems to be a theme with me.
Yes, and then he contacted, because you were doing marbles on stream for a bit, weren't you?
Yes.
And you contacted the Marbles on Stream guys, Pixel by Pixel Studios, and you said, hey, can I have my own custom marble because I'm a streamer, which is a legitimate request to make.
Yeah.
And what did they say?
They said, hey, if you place in the top 3 streamers of this season, which, by the way, you have to be streaming it every day to do that, you can get it. Or you can buy the Founders Package, which when I looked at it was something like $300. And I was like, I'm not doing either of those.
So what did you do in response?
I gathered a small team of Discord volunteers and we remade marbles in 7 hours.
So you literally built an entire game from the ground up because the original didn't give you a skin, and you went, screw this, I can make my own better, and you did.
Yeah, so now we've got marbles, and there's one of me with my face just stretched around the entire marble. There's one of me as a spider for some reason. Yeah, it's great.
That's the attitude that I want. That's the attitude. Yeah. When Cal told me he did that, I'm like, that's the attitude of someone that I can work with. Someone that just took the no and went, fine, I'll do it myself. And actually made it himself.
I need that on a t-shirt. Just fine, I'll do it myself.
I'll do it myself. So I want to. Can we superimpose your face over Thanos? You know when Thanos says the "I'll do it myself" thing. We'll get someone who's good with Photoshop, and we'll make that happen. Spite is a good driving force. That's very, very true. So this podcast is just about. It's called the Tangent Tavern because we start off mainly talking about games, and then we tend to go off on tangents. We have a few defined subjects that we want to approach every episode. Cal, what are those subjects for this episode?
Oh, this episode, we are going to be talking about the NFT ban, the game ban by Steam.
That's crypto as well, isn't it?
Yeah, NFT and blockchain. Anything NFT and blockchain will be removed and permanently banned from the Steam store, which is quite a big topic in itself. What else was there? We got some other things.
There was the Amazon's New World MMO has been discovered to actually put a lot of very important calculations client side instead of server side.
Yes.
And if
this blew my mind when I saw the video in Kira's. It was in Kira's video actually.
Oh, Kira's probably covered it. I mean, the guy is on it with MMOs.
I was watching it, and it was just like your brain just starts to like fade into the ether. Just watching the stupidity of it.
Yeah, I mean, the Amazon. They're a small indie company. Obviously, they only make a few billion a year, and what they've done is they've basically put a decision into the game, a design decision that is ridiculously dumb. It's insanely dumb. Like, even if you've never made a game, I mean, should we just start with this? Should we just talk about how dumb this is?
Yeah.
So there's two different ways that a game makes decisions, server side and client side. Cal, you're a developer. I think I know what those mean, but you can probably explain them better than me.
Okay, so when you're playing a single player game, everything is done client side because there is only a client. The client is the game that you have open in front of you.
So everything's running on your computer or on your PlayStation or on your Xbox.
Your computer's doing the maths. So that's why every single player game is cheatable, because you are fully in control of it. You can go in there and edit a file that says player speed. In a client-server model, such as MMOs, everything the client does basically asks the server, can I do this? And then the server will do it for you, if you're allowed to. So let's say you're clicking to open a door. The client says to the server, can I open this door? The server looks through your quest history and whatever, and it's like, yes, you can, and opens it for you. The client never actually opens the door. The server does it for you. Now, what New World's done is mind-boggling, to say the least.
Should we just explain,
one example,
before we jump into that, because there was an example that I think everyone will be able to relate with. Did anyone play Adventure Quest or Dragon Fable or Adventure Quest Worlds? Those old Flash 2D games that you could download, and they were kind of pseudo online because you could log in and it stored your character. So your character's general stats were stored client side, as in every time you logged back in, even if you logged in on a new computer, it would get the information. But things like your gold count, they could be manipulated client side. You could actually go into the files of that game, you can go into the game process, and you could actually change how much gold the game thought you had. Because it didn't check with a server, it just checked on your machine. Which is really dangerous with a multiplayer thing, because with a multiplayer thing, you don't want anyone to be in control of anything. You want the server to be, all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful. You don't want to give the client any power. Otherwise, someone could just type in "other player dies" and make it happen. So what
it's called sanity checking. Yeah.
I mean, Rule 101 is never trust the client. Ever.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Don't ever think, because as soon as you trust the client, they are going to hack. And I think that's kind of what's been discovered in New World. Yes.
So the main one that I spotted that it kind of alerts me to just how bad this is and how much it can be exploited is complete invincibility.
Yes, that was an interesting one.
And the way that this is done is insane. So you can go into borderless windows, borderless windowed mode, where you can drag the client around on the screen. Now, while your mouse is not focused on the game itself, in the client, and you're dragging the client window around, it pauses any kind of handshake between the client and the server, basically saying, "Are you alive?" And the client just doesn't respond. Now, while the client isn't responding, you are invincible.
So let's just explain this in layman's terms. You and me are having a battle in New World. You are playing in full screen. I am playing in a windowed mode, so I can actually click and drag the window around on my monitor.
Yes.
You attack me, and in response, I click on the little top bar of the window of New World, my game, and I just start dragging it around. I don't interact with the game, I just start dragging it around. All the damage all the damage information that your client is sending to the server because you're hitting me in the game, the server is not sending to my client, because for some reason damage input is calculated client side only when the client is focused.
Not quite. I think I know what it is, and this is an issue with Unreal Engine as well. But Unreal Engine have fixed this, and they're using Lumberyard, their own Amazon-made game engine.
Okay.
So they've got the same issue that every other game engine has. They just didn't fix it. So they don't run the processes in the background, meaning that if you minimize your game, every calculation is basically cached and stored. And it's not running calculations in the background. That's why your GPU usage will completely drop when you minimize or unfocus the window. It just ceases to exist, essentially.
Because what I saw someone doing in the game to prove that it was a client-side decision was they ran off a cliff and they jumped off the cliff. And while they were falling, they minimized the client on their computer. And they could see that other players in the game could see their character in the air, just hovering. Yes. Because the client of the actual player who had jumped wasn't maximized or focused on their own client, the character just hovered there. The server didn't know the character should continue to fall because the client wasn't sending it the information that it needed to fall.
Yeah. So the way that I think this is broken is it's called a client-server handshake. So basically, you don't want to send information to a client if the client's not actually using it. Right? Let's say someone stayed logged in and they've moved away from their computer for a couple of hours and they're still logged in. Well, you don't want to keep sending them information. So what it will do is it will basically send a packet to them and say, "Hey, send this back if you're still online," right? And this is mostly how they detect logouts as well, which seems a bit odd to do it that way. But it's just like a little heartbeat. Just keep sending it for you to send back. Well, your client is in sleep mode when you're not focused on it. So you're not sending back the handshake to say, "I'm online." So when you jump off somewhere and start waving the window around, the game just thinks you're not on.
So here's what
And
I've seen.
this means worse things down the line, because you can trick so many systems with that.
Well, that's what I've seen them do so far. From what I can tell, and this is all over the New World subreddit, mages have been using the Ice Gauntlet spell that creates an ice turret on the floor, which then does AoE damage to the enemies. But when you create this ice turret, the turret itself is a server-side calculation. So what happens is you have a massive horde of mages running into a war, all of them creating ice turrets, and then all of the players minimizing their own games or moving around the windows. So the characters can't be hurt, but the ice turrets will continue to tick over damage if the enemies are there.
And it actually gets worse, because the turret's lifetime is based off of a buff or debuff on the character, right?
So they don't even go away.
So they don't go away, but the firing of the projectiles doesn't send a handshake to the client that placed it, so it will infinitely fire away, and it will infinitely last because it thinks you're away and it won't count down the debuff. Their game is so flawed in, like, the server architecture, it's terrible.
So the best way to win a PvP war in New World is, one, mass report your enemy general, because it's already been shown that mass reports aren't all human checked, they just get kicked for 24 hours, and two, have a load of people run in, put down AoE or timed damage buffs, and then everyone minimize the client and just wait for the enemy to die.
Yeah, there's potentially even worse ones that people are theorizing.
Let's theorize, Cal.
Okay, so something I tested out is using a Python script to move your window by 1 pixel every frame, right? And then focus back on the game. You can play the game while being partially invincible.
So like every other frame, it wouldn't be detected. So you'd have like 50% invincibility all the time.
Yes. And you can hotkey this. So let's say you hotkey it to control. You're running around in New World. You hold control. A Python script just wiggles your window 1 pixel. You're invincible while holding control.
Cool. So, I mean, that could... We're not saying that you would do that. We were just saying that... Did it work?
Yeah.
You found an invincibility hack by just wiggling the window a little bit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, New World.
It's completely pointless. And because it's hotkeyed, you can see an ability flying into you and just hold control. Think of it like armor lock from Halo Reach.
So you've basically you've managed to create an invincibility button which just wiggles the window, which means no calculations are being sent to your client or from your client to the server.
Well, it gets even worse than that.
How can it get worse than this, Cal?
Because you don't have to do that, right? If now that we know that the issue is caused by a handshake not being sent back to the thing, you can have a hotkey to close off a port so that you literally bounce every handshake that comes in.
So you can port forward at will.
You just close... Yeah, imagine making a toggle key to, on the fly, just close off and bounce any request.
Would that not kick you off the server if that's the
not if you've
got to it?
Nope, because it's exactly what's happening with the client-side issues. It's on a different port, meaning you can close off a single port. It's the invincibility port, pretty much.
So it's entirely possible to play New World, write a program which stops your client of New World sending or receiving information from the New World server, and that information would include such things as incoming damage. Yeah. And, I mean, would it stop you... It would stop you at that point also sending movement requests, because then it would need to be moved and stuff. But you're effectively giving yourself... Oh, it wouldn't stop you moving.
It wouldn't stop you moving. You're only stopping incoming traffic, not outgoing.
So you can send stuff to the server, but you can't receive stuff from it.
Yeah, so think this. When you move, you press W to move forward. You send a packet to the New World server and say, hey, I want to move forward. And it moves you, remember. It doesn't send you anything back, it moves you.
Okay. But if someone else does something to you, it doesn't send it to you.
No, because for some reason, they send you like a little heartbeat handshake thing to check that you're online before they damage you.
If anyone's watching this or listening to this podcast style, I'm just sat here very The word isn't confused, because I'm not confused about anything that's going on. Shocked is definitely an accurate word for it. Dismayed would be accurate. How long would it take someone, a game dev, a tester, how long would it take someone to figure this out?
If they'd have done it early on, 10 minutes. Like, this is a mistake, like, in the fundamental building of their server architecture. And I will say this. This might be incredibly hard to fix. Like, yeah, incredibly.
It sounds like a foundation level thing. Like if you were building a mansion and you lay the foundation wrong, once the mansion is built and it starts to slide, it's not just a case of, changing the curtains. It's not a case of just giving it a new lick of paint. It's a case of actually going all the way to the foundation and rebuilding it and resetting it.
Yeah. And the worst part of this is these Python scripts are 3 lines. Like 3 lines of code. Anybody who isn't a programmer can do this. You don't need to download cheats. It's really basic programming.
And here's the big question that I want to know. Can they detect that you're doing this? Because it's just wiggling your own window.
It's actually really funny because the way that they would detect this is actually circumvented by the cheat itself. So if you're not receiving data, they'd send a handshake to see that you're online, but you're bouncing all the requests, so realistically, no.
So they would see you as offline?
They see you as offline, but because you're not... It's really tricky.
Because the only way they'd be able to prove that you're then online is...
By you responding to the requests.
Exactly, or if they could actually physically see you in the game.
Yeah.
If there was like a game master watching you.
You're a game developer. You don't want your players to be hurt while they're offline. That makes no sense. So you would send a request saying, hey, are you actually still online? And no, they're not, because they're telling you they're not, so you don't let them get hurt. It's so flawed, but I genuinely think they're going to struggle with this one. This is a big problem. Because
moving the window round on your own machine is...
It's normal.
Yeah, that's not information that a game developer would need. Nope. They're not going to track... Hey, is this person... They can track whether you're playing in windowed mode or whether you're playing in full screen mode or that, but they can't track whether you're moving the windows specifically at any given time.
And their fix for this issue is possibly the funniest thing I've heard. This just shows how bad it is.
I mean, the only thing I could think of, and I'm not a professional game developer, if I had to do like an emergency fix on this, I would just disable windowed mode.
That is what they've done. They've removed window mode entirely. Not just disabled, it removed it.
Can you force launch in windowed mode through Steam? So I'm pretty sure you can just go into an ini file and make it do that.
This is the issue that's followed. I believe you still can. And there is, in fact, a file that you can just drop into the launch options that re-enable the option, and they have no idea.
So...
It's just a wrapper file that you can put in there, and you've just got it back.
How?
Because the thing is, it was built to support windowed mode, so players can just re-enable it.
How you launch a program on your own machine, on your own computer, is up to you. If Amazon want to put in a specific windowed mode graphical option in their game, that's great, that makes it easy, but every single game has an ini file, .ini, which is pretty much how it all works. If you want to change any parameter in a game... You can go into the ini file and change stuff. I had to do it with Oblivion because I didn't realise this. Oblivion's speed is actually matched up to your processor. So, because I'm playing on an i9, when I turned Oblivion on, I was playing at like 300 frames a second.
Gotta go fast.
Super speed mode. I had to go into the ini and specifically limit it to 30 frames a second, which is what Oblivion runs best at. So, you could just go into any of the ini files on Steam... And you could tell it, hey, when this game launches, I want to launch in a window at this size. You can do that. That's a thing it can do.
I had to do that with New World. Not New World. Definitely didn't have to do that with New World. What did I have to do it with? Arcade. Arcade had the same problem. They didn't have, bordered
borderless window.
Yeah, that's the one. They didn't have that. But you just put a wrapper file in and... That's it.
Yeah, so that's dumb. So Amazon there's been discovered an invincibility glitch on New World, and the only way to perform the glitch is to wiggle the window around a bit. So they have patched the glitch by simply removing your ability to launch it in windowed mode. But they haven't actually removed that ability because a lot of that can be done client-side because it's a program you're launching anyway.
Yeah, it's not a game issue, it's a network issue. They've just severely messed it up.
Some people are saying
and
that
that's
GeForce...
not the only thing.
Oh, does it get worse, Cal?
Have you heard about their economical crash?
Yes, I have. That was brilliant.
Yep, they have yet another bug, which I actually think is partially to do with the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, oh, we don't know what's causing it, but I do believe it's the same thing. So there's an issue where some players were able to log in but not do anything. So that means they're in the same sort of state where they're just not responding to handshakes, right? Okay. However, they can transfer all their gold to someone else, but they can log out and back in, and they've got their gold, and so is the person they sent it to.
I can see no way this would go wrong.
Yeah, and this is again the same thing. They said they could run around, but they couldn't interact with anything. They couldn't do anything. I actually believe it's people that have been abusing the cheat and have somehow got it stuck so that it's bouncing all requests. Same issue that people were purposely trying to do for the Invincibility, because it has the same effect. But it also has the effect that when they send a request, send gold from you, they just give it someone, right? It's kind of like this handshake things happen. So let's say I've got myself in this bugged state and I want to give you gold.
Mm-hmm.
So I say I'm giving Josh all my gold. The server, does a quick handshake with Josh. Yes, Josh is online. Let's put this gold into his inventory. It then comes to do the handshake from me. Let's take the gold off Cal. Oh, he's offline. We just won't take it.
So it gives it to me, but then doesn't delete it from you.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a way to do this? Because I remember playing Pokemon Red and Blue on an original Game Boy back in the school playground, and when you traded a Pokemon to someone else, there was a perfect moment where you could pull out the link cable in the middle of the trade, like physically disconnect the hardware, and you would both have the Pokemon that you tried to trade over.
Yeah, exactly. It is exactly the same. And this is something that a lot of people don't realise, and for some it's very obvious. Mm-hmm. Items and money in game are not actually given from one person to another. Mm-hmm. They just generate it. In often cases, they'll generate it first to give to the person, mm-hmm. and then they'll remove it from the person before. It's not the same money.
No.
It's just numbers, on a database.
Yeah.
So there is always a state where either none of you have the item or both of you have the item that you're trading. And the easiest way to do it with referencing is for both of you to have it at one point. And because you can reuse the reference for the thing you're taking. That's the lazy way of doing it, and it's what a lot of people, in single-player games do.
I suppose it's
or
also
in local multiplayer.
Better for developers, otherwise you're going to get a load of people complaining, hey, I traded an item to my friend and we've both lost the item. It's better to have people saying, oh, there's an item dupe, than it is a load of requests for lost items.
Yeah, pretty much. And in often case, it's a small item, no one cares. Some people don't even notice it's being duped. This is World of Warcraft had this issue actually, and it was a really big issue. Mm-hmm. You could get a macro to move an item in and out of a trade window, and they were doing it a different way, where anything you put in a trade window is truly removed from your inventory, and it's put into a new little container file somewhere. Mm-hmm. So as you were moving it back and forth really fast, like multiple times per tick, your inventory just all of a sudden started flooding with that item.
Because it was trying to put it back into your inventory faster than it realised it had put it back in anyway.
Yes, because there is a point where it is both in the trade window and in your inventory.
Right, so you'd be going super fast, and then there'd be a minute where it's back in your inventory and in the trade window, and it says, hey, it shouldn't be in the trade window, sends it to your inventory, now you've got two. And then it goes again, it just slowly fills up and fills up and fills up.
It's kind of like you're setting up this big buffer of requests, and it just gets to the point where it's pulling its hair out, and it's like, I don't know, just give all their stuff back.
See, that's a really technical problem with the New World economy. I was reading about once, not technical, it's just crap.
Yeah, people are trading items, aren't they, instead of gold? Just gold is not being used.
It turns out that in order to get low-level smithing, you need iron ore. And then to get mid-level smithing, you need a lot of iron ore and some mid-level items. And then to get really high-level smithing, you need an absolute load of iron ore and some higher-level items. And it turns out that the higher-level items, like star metal and stuff, pretty much worthless. Because no one's bothering to trade the extremely high-level stuff. What they're doing is they're trading iron ore. Because iron ore, the lowest level resource, is required in every single step for the leveling process. So it turns out that if you have a maxed level crafter, they actually find iron ore much more valuable than star metal ore. So it's
needed in higher quantities as well.
Yeah.
So
you've got this thing where people are mining iron ore and selling it for hundreds of gold coins, or trying to sell it for hundreds of gold coins. Then they're mining star metal ore and selling it for 1 or 2, because even though it's a higher level resource, nobody needs it.
Yeah. New World is... I genuinely think New World was a good year and a half off being released.
Yeah.
When they went into beta.
Because
there's just so many issues.
Other games hire economists to work this out. RuneScape has people who... Jagex hire economists to work out how the RuneScape economy works. EVE Online is the greatest thing to read about. To not play, because it's insanely complicated.
I completely agree.
Yeah. To read about EVE and just what's happening in it is incredible. And they did not bother getting any economists in to say, hey, how's this going to work with New World? Because what we've now discovered in New World is you need to buy a house. That's one of the things that you can do. But you get a bit of a bonus if you buy a house for the first time. The first time house buyer, you get a bit of a bonus, a bit of a money off. So there's no point buying a low-level house. You want to use that bonus on a high-level house.
Right, yes. I did see an article about this, and I think it was by PC Gamer, and it had me in stitches. Because have you seen the house decoration system?
I've seen bits of it. I've tried to...
It was this guy who was like, I bought this empty house. There was nothing. I went and I traipsed far and wide across the land to try and find items to put in it. I found lime green curtains that don't match anything. I tried to find other colour curtains. There are none. And it's just like... They made 1 of everything or 2 of everything. None of them match. It looks like Dreamworld in a house. Like, you go in there, you've just got tinsel hanging from the ceiling.
I've told people that when you put house creation systems in shared overworlds, this is what happens, because the same thing happened with Shroud of the Avatar. As soon as you give players the chance to build anything, you realise that most people aren't interior designers for a reason.
Oh.
They aren't good at it. So you give people the ability to create their own house, and suddenly you realise people have terrible fashion sense, and you have terrible houses in the overworld. But what's then happened is you have to pay taxes on your house every week.
Of course you do.
No, I lie. Every 5 days. It says every week.
What?
I know. It says you have to pay weekly taxes to keep your house up. But it's not taken weekly. It's taken every 5 days.
This just shows that Jeff Bezos has never paid any taxes in his life. He
doesn't
hasn't
know
a
how it
clue
works.
how this works, does he?
And if you don't pay it, you lose your house. But it's actually relatively hard to make enough gold in order to keep your house.
That treadmill.
But then what it's been discovered is if you run a settlement, if you are the person who's in charge of a settlement, you can tax things, and those taxes go to you. So it's been worked out that an average high-level crafter or a high-level quester can probably make a couple of thousand gold an hour if they try really hard. If you own a settlement for a day, you will make about 200,000 gold through taxes. Now what you're meant to do is reinvest that gold into your settlement to keep the crafting station level 5, to fund a war, to fund some kind of attack or advancement.
Yeah.
But let's just say that you somehow become in charge or in control of a settlement, and you get 200,000 gold, and then another team contact you and say, hey, why don't you come and join us, and then we'll take over the old settlement and you can tax them even higher. And people have been doing that. People have been taking over settlements, taking all the tax money, leaving their current team, going to join another team, and then assaulting their old settlement once they've taken the defences down to 0.
You say that they haven't hired a real-world economist, but they don't need to at this point, because history's just repeating itself, isn't it?
It's amazing that when you say to
Get
people...
taxed, buy a big mansion, don't invest it back in the company.
Yeah. People say, hey, we want a fully PvP game where players can do anything.
No,
Turns
you don't.
out, when you give players a fully PvP game when they can do anything, people are dicks.
Mm-hmm.
People,
Yes.
yeah, they charge high taxes, they take all your money, they run away, and they attack you. I'm shocked. I'm just shocked, Cal.
You could probably avoid the tax if you just wiggle your window around on Friday.
When it comes to take the tax.
Taxman runs in the door, just wiggle your window around a little bit.
I think that's what Jeff Bezos has obviously done. He's obviously his Amazon New World account is rerouted through like Scandinavia and then Finland and then Switzerland, and then it goes there, and the money all moves around somehow. So yeah, you've got this system in New World where, because people have been on the New World subreddit flooding it with things saying, I can't believe that my guild leader took 50,000 gold from us that we gave him as a war bond, and he was meant to use it to fund the war, and he just went to join the other team. And I'm there thinking, really?
Have you not played World of Warcraft?
Yeah.
Have you never been in a guild?
Can you really not believe that happened? If someone walked up to me and said, hey, here's 50,000 gold, which would be a hell of a lot, you have to use it to attack those guys over there, and then the guys over there walked up to me and said, hey, how about you join us, and then we will fund an attack against the people that just gave you 50,000 gold.
Because they haven't got money.
Yeah, they haven't got money because they gave it all to you, and we'll beat them, and then we'll put you in charge, and you can charge even more taxes. Yeah. Okay, it's a PvP game. Oh, I miss when games had loyalty. No, they didn't. People followed the money. New World right now is showing you what PvP players want to do.
Yeah, World of Warcraft was a perfect example of the highest levels of loyalty in a game, I think. Mm-hmm. I remember being an enchanter, and people would give you high-level gear to disenchant into crystals. And when I came into World of Warcraft from RuneScape, so, like, you know, I'm super street savvy at that point, and someone's like, just give me a gear, I'll disenchant it, and I'll give you the crystals back, and I'm like, not so fast. And then my friend's just like, no, seriously, people do this, like, you can trust people. I was like, right, okay.
No, I think it's telling that people are super annoyed that people are winning PvP via exploits, and they are winning PvP via disloyal tactics. That's what winning PvP is. It's people always think of PvP as this honourable two legendary warriors on top of a mountain as heavy metal plays in the background and you fight for your honour. No, it's one dude waiting in the sunshine while 30 other people just run up, spam ice turrets, and then all minimise their own game clients.
People say, oh, PvP communities in every game are toxic, and there's a reason why. The RuneScape community will use literally any advantage they can get on you, even if it goes down to DDoSing, you know, anything. Any leg up you can get over your opponent in any PvP game, you would be stupid not to use.
Yeah.
Because the stakes are so high.
People always say to me that I must dislike competition, I must dislike PvP, and I think they get really shocked when I try to explain the opposite is true. I love PvP. I love
Castle War.
Yeah, I love competition when it's fair and balanced, when it's skill-based, not numbers-based, when you win because of your in-game knowledge, not because of your meta exploits. There is something beautiful about one person who's passionate about a skill or a game or a subject taking on someone else, and they win because of their skill in the game, not because of their exploits outside of the game.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people will say, well, you've got the option to do the same thing. You can just wiggle your window around, and then we're both equal.
Exactly.
But you're not.
Which is meta. I don't like it when competition involves meta elements. Meta is the game within the game, knowledge of the game outside of itself. So it's almost like going to play Magic the Gathering, except you use one of those hentai mats, and you don't shower for like a year before you go and do it.
That's just Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much what Magic the Gathering is like. But whenever you use any outside tactic to give yourself an in-game advantage, it feels shallow. And people say that exploiting the game mechanics is a skill in itself. It's not the skill that I signed up to have tested.
I mean, perfect example, prayer flicking in RuneScape.
Yeah.
That is now considered a game mechanic, even though it's a bug that they just couldn't fix.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that a lot of high-level PVM in old-school RuneScape is now pretty much based around prayer flicking.
Yeah.
Because they know people are going to do it.
And this is the issue where I feel sorry for people who have joined Group Iron Man not as high-level PVMers. So for those who don't know what prayer flicking is, you can turn on a prayer, activate it, and it will drain your prayer points. And prayer points, you either have to recharge at an altar or drink prayer potions. Prayer potions are super expensive and hard to get on Iron Men accounts. So one of the tactics is you can turn your prayer on.
So prayer would block all damage of a certain type. So you've got protect from melee, protect from range, and protect from mage. So let's say you're attacking me with a sword, with melee. And I turn on protect from melee. While that prayer is on, I take no damage, but my prayer points will drain.
Exactly. Now, the prayers immediately are effective as soon as you turn them on. However, your prayer drains every, let's just say for the sake of it, half a second, right? You drain it, it checks every half a second. Have they got any prayers on? How much do we need to drain? Let's drain it. So if your prayers aren't on for half a second, you can do what's called prayer flicking. So I turn it on, and as soon as it's getting to the half second mark, flick it off and back on. So when the server checks, I've got no prayer on it, doesn't drain it. So I can have infinite prayer points by just flicking them on and off.
So your prayer is on for long enough for the game to count it as protection, but it's not on for long enough for the game to count it as a prayer drain point.
Exactly.
So then you turn it off and you turn it back on, and the point drain resets.
Exactly. And this is a fundamental issue with the game that they just can't fix.
And I think that's because RuneScape ticks happen every 0.6 seconds. And this is the tick system. So if your prayer is meant to drain every other tick, and you've only got it on for one tick, and then off and then back on, then off and then back on, you will be fully protected under the effect of the prayer, but it won't drain your resources. Ironically, Sea Shanty 2 is actually the correct... I
saw that video.
Sea Shanty 2 and Staying Alive is the correct beat to turn your prayer on and off to be in a perfect prayer flick. In fact, even RuneLite, the RuneLite third-party launcher client, has a metronome which ticks every prayer flick. So if you just click every single time you hear the beat, and it's very fast, you are protected forever.
This is an issue as well, because the game doesn't explain prayer flicking to you because it's not part of the game.
It's not meant to be.
But the last end, like the high-end gameplay requires it almost. Well, here's the thing. If something exists in your game that's not intended but you can't remove, do you balance high-end content around it, or do you not? Because if you don't, everyone's going to face roll it. Because as soon as they get to the content, they can prayer flick. Yeah. You basically have infinite prayer points.
So what we're doing
if you
now
do it
is
right.
They use it in the fight kiln with the 3 Jads at the same time. I've not done the 3 Jads, but for anyone in the chat who's unsure, first of all, welcome and thank you very much for joining us. It's lovely to have you here. In RuneScape, there is a player versus monster challenge called the Fight Caves, where you have to fight all the way... The Inferno, thank you. You fight all the way through like an hour's worth of enemies to get to the Zoc Jad. And the Zoc Jad will attack you with either range or mage. And when you see it do its animation, you need to change your prayer to either be range or mage to block all of that damage. So you see it rear its feet up and slam them down, you know it's a ranged attack, you switch to the range prayer. You see it rear its feet up and kind of spit magic at you, you switch to magic. With the Inferno, you have to fight 3 Jads at the same time. And you have to time your prayer half a second behind to block whatever Jad is attacking you. So if the first Jad rears up and does range, the second does range, and the third does mage, you have to make sure the ranged is on when you get hit first, then the range, then switch to mage, but while you're switching, you are also watching what the first Jad is doing again, because it's a cycle of 3 attacks that you need to memorize and switch every half second. It's incredibly complicated, but it's also the only way to get past that content.
Yeah, and here's the issue with it. You don't have time to go to your inventory to drink prayer potions. And because of how long that fight takes with all 3, you basically have to flick your prayers. You can't leave them on, you have to flick them. So it's almost a mechanic that, I mean, there are circumstances where you can do it without that, but it's a mechanic that almost requires bug abuse that they've now renamed to clever use of game mechanics.
Yeah. People are saying in the chat that's not necessarily prayer flicking, it's prayer switching. Yes, that is prayer switching, but you will end up switching so much and the fight goes on for so long that unless you then flick them off and on again, you will lose prayer points faster than you're able to recover them. The problem is RuneScape wasn't built as a rhythm game, and yet it's become one. RuneScape is now, high-level PVM is a rhythm game of flicking prayers on and off if you want to be efficient. It's a mechanic that you need to master.
That reminds me, actually, of something I've seen recently. Do you know who Atikon is?
No.
He's a high-level PVMer. He holds the record for the fastest Chambers of Xeric challenge mode.
Oh, wow.
I'm a mod in his stream and Discord, and one of the things that blew my mind recently is the last Verzik, the last fight of Theatre of Blood. You know where the tornadoes come out and you see people just running all over the place to avoid them?
Yeah.
And you've got to not run into each other's tornadoes. If you time this perfectly, you can both run the opposite way round Verzik, attack on the corners, and do this kind of like weird dance thing around it. And if you are like tick perfect, you're weaving in and out of each other's tornadoes, and it is the most efficient DPS on the boss to the point that it obliterates it.
I've seen it when people do things like that. There was the same one on Vorkath, the dragon, where you could move backward and forward while the acid spit phase was on you. Yeah, the Wook's Walk, because Wook's mastered it, so they called it that. One of the big problems with RuneScape high-level PVM is because the whole system is based on this 0.6 tick, cycle. As long as you can work out how to manipulate something every 0.6 seconds, you can become immune to most things. It's ridiculous. And that's the foundation level problem, which is why RuneScape has leaned heavily into it. To link this back to New World, New World's wiggling the window for invulnerability, do you think that's a foundation level problem?
Yes. It's just the fact that their client server architecture is fundamentally flawed, and unfortunately the entire game is built on it.
That's someone's mentioned
the amount of work it's going to take for them to repair that.
Yeah.
Without just doing constant bodge jobs, it's going to be astronomical. It really is.
Someone's mentioned in chat what is tick eating in RuneScape. So consider this. If I'm playing RuneScape and I've got 1 health left and an enemy performs a ranged attack against me, that ranged attack will not hit over my maximum remaining health. Even if it could do 30 damage, if I've got 1 health left, it will do 1 damage to kill me. So if I wait for that projectile to be fired, it has its damage value assigned to it.
Calculated on launch, not on hit.
What I then need to do is eat food that gives me 1 health, which takes me to 2. The projectile hits me and takes me to 1. That is often known as tick eating. So I wait for the enemy to fire the projectile, eat a tiny bit of food which increases my health a little bit, and then take the damage that it calculated to be sending it at me. It's ridiculously complicated to do, but it's how Rendy got the level 3 fire cape. You take yourself down to 1 health, and every time Jad attacks, you just eat up to 1 health and just take 1 damage pretty much every single time. It's incredible the way it's done. So that means that New World potentially has a foundation level problem which is going to become an exploit in the game.
Yeah. The fact that they just disable the window borderless and whatnot just shows how big of an issue this is. That it's like you say, it's a foundation level issue. I don't see that being fixed anytime soon, and I can see there being, now that people, well, I assume other people are figuring this out, that it's just a bounce in packets thing. As soon as that's figured out by the majority...
Do you think people are going to invent programs to just do it? Or third-party clients that do it automatically?
Well,
because you've got a Python script to do it.
A 3 to 5 line Python script that just closes off the port as you're holding a button of your choice. It's running in the background.
It's crazy that exists.
It's not hard. Yeah, it's a really big issue.
I've known one MMORPG actually go back and fix a root layer problem, like a foundation problem. And I think I can talk about this now. I like Runes of Magic. It is objectively a weak MMORPG, and subjectively, I like it. Like, I've got good memories of it. Like, I will rip it apart all day, but I still enjoy it. Like, I will sit and play Runes of Magic fully aware of all its problems. And Runes of Magic was built, I think this was the problem, was built using Lua, Lua, and that's the language for it.
Yes.
And when Runes of Magic was originally built, PCs weren't very powerful, so it only had an internal memory of, I think it was 4 gigabytes. And there was a problem with the Runes of Magic client where it didn't empty its memory. So what would happen you would go to a main city in Runes of Magic, and if you played on high graphics, you would load in other players, particle effects, the skybox, weather effects. You would load in everything, and you would very quickly, within about, I'm talking 5 minutes, fill up this 4 gigabytes. And once the client got to 4 gigabytes, it crashed. And it would happen all the time. It was a crash bug. If you played Runes of Magic and after like 20 minutes you got a warning, memory usage has exceeded safe levels, that's what would happen. It could only handle 4 gigabytes worth of data. And I ended up speaking to, I think it was one of the developers of Runes of Magic at the time, and I did cover it on Worst. I made a a video called Runes of Tragic. And I basically
yes, I saw this.
I messaged the dude, the developer, and he said, "Hey Josh, how can we fix the game?" And I said, "You can stop it doing the memory leak bug." And he went, "Yeah, that's like a really deep problem. That's not." I think that when the game was originally made, and then it was given to the company that has it now, they can add stuff, like they can add a shop, and they can add music, and they can add items and armor, but they can't actually change the foundation code, and that's where the problem was.
Yeah, it's basically they've not given them it's not the source code. It's kind of like they've given them tools to add things to the currently built thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like when they found the first old school RuneScape build to put back up. They'd lost the engine at that point. The engine had changed so much that they couldn't go in engine and edit it, so they had to make third-party tools to do that.
That's actually why there's a cow in the Nightmare Zone. You know when they built the Nightmare Zone and they put it in the game, north of Yanil, there was a wandering cow, and they had no idea how to take that code out of it. So the cow just wanders into the Nightmare Zone randomly because they literally can't stop it from doing that.
Yeah. They could add things to a new database, which is a big list of things, but basically the references were all gone.
Yeah.
So that was the issue with that.
So I got contacted by the Runes of Magic guys, and they said, "Hey, we've actually fixed that bug. We've managed to go all the way into the foundation stuff. It's taken us bloody ages to do, and the client can now handle like 16 gig of memory, and it has a memory dump every few minutes to check that you're not using stuff." And I thought, that's actually really good. I will slate devs when they do bad stuff.
Yeah.
But you've got to be honest and fair and say, actually, that's really impressive. You've managed to fix a foundation level issue. It only took them like 12 years to do it.
But hey, it's done.
How long is it going to take Amazon to fix New World? Because they've got not only a gold dupe and exploit with the sending packets, they've got an invulnerability exploit, and they've got a general lack of content, it seems, at the end.
I hate to be like the pessimist, but I think they've kind of shot their load now. They've done.
Do you think this is going to be? Do you think
it's going to be a death cry now? I think because
you think that New World
they've had their one shot. When you relaunch a game, you generally have one shot, unless you're Final Fantasy Realms Reborn, right?
Yeah.
But they've gone in big with a product that's not really ready, and they've consistently proven that it's not ready.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the gathering. I like the graphics team, the lighting team, and the sound team. Top notch.
The sound is beyond anything I've ever heard.
Isn't it? The New World sounds gorgeous. It's just lovely. If you play New World and you just go and pick some hemp, or you go and mine some iron, or you just pick some herbs, and you're just out in the wilderness and you see the foliage and the flora and fauna around you, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous experience. But beyond that, it feels like a walking simulator with the bones of an MMO kind of glued on.
This ties into a video that I released last week. Or was it this week?
The made backwards
last
one.
week. Yeah. This is the issue that I have with MMOs. They all feel like they're made backwards, and it's because they are. They genuinely are. There's some bigwigs sat in a meeting room somewhere, and they're like, "We need to make money. Let's get into the gaming industry. Let's make an MMO. They're big. They make tons of money. They last forever."
Yeah.
They know they're not going to last forever. They know that it's going to be this big build-up of cash, and then the game just dies. And at which point, it's easier to go and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Under a different title. Everything is based around how can we make money, how can we make the most money, and how can we make it quickly. Their response to this should have been, "We'll delay it a year. We'll delay it a year and a half," if they cared enough. But they don't, because they've got their pre-orders. They've got people willing to buy it.
I think this happened with Cyberpunk. I think what happens is once a game has reached a certain point, and this is an investor problem as well. If you as a company take a certain amount of money as investment, you are expected to pay dividends on that investment within a certain time period. And what happened was Cyberpunk reached the end of year moment where if it wasn't released then, all of the money it made would roll over to the profits for next year. And the investors were not willing to count the profits from the game as next year's income. They wanted the income this year so they could prove return on investment. If you're in charge, if you work for an investment company and you go to your boss and say, hey, we've given this company, CD Projekt Red, a couple of £1 million, and your boss goes, cool, when am I going to see that money again? And you go, this year. He's like, sweet. You then go to your own boss and say, hey, CD Projekt Red are pushing their game back. We won't see that money until, like 2 or 3 years' time. Your boss is going to say, that's not good enough. I want that profit now. You go back to CD Projekt Red and you say, you launched the game. Because even if we make less profit, we need that profit now.
Yeah. I mean, they don't care how your game goes. They just want the money.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Investors often don't care about the best thing for a game long term. They care about the best. Because if you invest £1 million and you get 2 million back, you can then invest 2 million immediately in something else. Let's say that you invest £1 million and CD Projekt Red say to you, hey, if you wait a year, we can get you 4 million. You can say to them, I don't care. You give me my 2 million now, I'll invest 2 million in something else. I'll get 4 million anyway. If anything, you're just a risk to keep the money.
They don't want money tied up for any longer than it needs to be. And it's simple. It really is. And it's a shame because we're moving into territory now where games cost so much money to make, to impress anybody. People are having to go to investment firms and, sell their soul to the devil.
As soon as Jagex
the game's no longer in your control.
As soon as Jagex was bought by Insight Ventures back in 2009, first thing we got was the Squeal of Fortune.
Yep, Solomon's Store, EOC, you name it, just a bundle of stuff that nobody wanted and that nobody cared for.
You know what the problem was with the whole Squeal of Fortune and the microtransaction store? It worked. It worked really well. It made so much money.
I've been told by someone, like, the sort of money that made them, and...
Ridiculous.
When you look at it from their point of view and you're like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? I mean,
why wouldn't you?
People have asked me if I would make a mobile game, and I think that I need to. I mean, Cal, you're a developer. You can make games. You want to make a crap mobile game? We'll monetize the crap out of it.
Sure.
We'll have it be you and me going on an adventure to Slate Games, and we'll put in, copyright-friendly versions of other games, and I'll throw mugs.
Actually, yeah.
And you can,
That's perfect.
You can go and attack them with different,
with my Mando helmet on.
Different amounts of leather jackets.
Different amounts of leather jackets, yeah.
People in the chat saying you'd buy it. Of course you would. Of course everyone in the chat would buy it. We'd push the crap out of it.
Yeah. Put the NFTs in there, the JPEGs and the bitmaps.
What you've done there, Cal, has brought up NFTs. Which is a problem, because if we're going to put NFTs in our game, we can't put it on Steam, can we?
No, but Epic Games is willing to have us open arms. Did you hear about that?
No.
Their response, like an hour after that news broke, was... Epic Games welcomes all blockchain and NFT games.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The Epic Games Store is about to become NFT, the collection.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get, what's they called? What was the apes? The weird apes game. And then you're going to get pigs, and then you're going to get chickens, then you're going to get punks, then you're going to get... Every single...
Bored Ape Yacht Club, that one.
God. What does NFT mean, says someone in the chat. And here
God,
we
no, please.
go
No.
again. Right,
Just stay away is what it means, generally.
Let's imagine that one day... Imagine you bought a movie ticket stub. You didn't see the film, but you own the stub. And you can sell this stub to somebody else. And they can then say that they have the stub. And they didn't see the film either. But they have the stub. And then someone else might want to buy the stub off them. Because eventually the stub might be worth some money. And at no point did you see the film, any of you.
Mm-hmm.
But you own the stub. You don't own the rights to the film. You just own the stub. That's pretty much what an NFT is as far as art goes.
Yeah, I had to clarify this in my last video, actually. I'm not against NFTs and blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a great, decentralized invention, right? The problem I have is the uses of them in the gaming industry. It's atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of them are utilizing... Do I think blockchain will be the future of gaming? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to be, future of gaming because of people adding cryptocurrency into the game? No. I think that is possibly one of the biggest flaws with it. People are taking the most obvious thing and cramming it into the game just to say, oh, we've got blockchain, we've got a cryptocurrency in there. Great. Is it useful? Does anyone want it? Is it going to... Well, it instantly brings in pay to win into your game. Like you've added that by design. It's just a really big flaw that a lot of people are overlooking. Oh no, Josh has had a power cut. What are the chances? Man down. Man down. Oh, let's... Poor guy. He laughed at me. Laughed at me the other week. And here we are. Me just cut in half. This is what we want, isn't it? Does this work? No, that doesn't work. Well, we're going to have half and half, Callum. The curtain has been pulled down. Everything has collapsed. The illusion is gone. We are, in fact, in the same box. How with the 5 head? Oh, my God. Grab my good hand. Well, we'll see. Josh says 2 minutes. He's rebooting. It was just a temporary power cut. Callum and Josh sharing a box. There was actually a conspiracy last week. Because me and Josh were both ill and both couldn't make the podcast. I can confirm to you that it was just a conspiracy and nothing more. Possibly. That you are the same person. I mean, we are. Look, I'm in Josh's room now. Josh actually moved his window wildly and... Yeah, this is what happened. Me and Josh podcasting together, right? I wildly wiggle my OBS window around, and Josh, it just bounces every request from Josh and he's gone. It's Josh's turn to crash. This is a landmark, this is, I have to say. This is the first stream where I haven't had technical difficulties and Josh has died. Also, while we're waiting, thank you everybody for the resubs and the follows.
I think we're good.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we're back. Don't worry, we're back, guys. We're okay.
Stole all the...
I don't know if anyone on the Twitch team. Where's Strim? Strimmer's here. Strimmer's here. Cal, okay, we're good. Right, we had a power cut. Just a little bit of a power cut. Just smidgen of... The problem with a power cut is that it only takes a little bit. Like a small power cut. There's a pretty big difference with the stream, but I appreciate. Yeah, Doggo bit the cables. It was Jeff. It was Bitcoin. Too much mining Bitcoin power.
Someone says you wiggled your window around and it bounced the request.
Yeah, that's what it was.
How was it? Just wave your OBS around and it disconnects.
Hopefully we're all here though and everyone can see everything. Right. I was thinking about something. Yes, someone said something to me stupidly dumb a couple of days ago. Like it was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard someone say, and I've heard a lot of dumb things.
Okay.
We were talking about NFT, crypto, metaverse, and yeah, I know. So the idea of the metaverse is this one connected gaming universe where everything is related to something else. And someone said to me, hey, the great thing about the metaverse and the NFTs and buying artwork or buying an item, like if you buy an NFT of a sword in one game, you could use it in another. And I said, hang on, can you repeat that, please? He went, if you buy the NFT of an item in one game, when another game is released, because that game is in the metaverse, you can use the same sword.
Such a big flaw with that. Such a big flaw. And everyone I say this to, I said, until there is a universally agreed upon API for the metaverse, you can't.
That's like...
You just can't. It's literally that simple.
It would be like me sitting down to play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And having my deck made up of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Uno cards.
Uno cards.
And them saying, like, hang on, you can't use those. I'd be like, I can, though.
The metaverse, baby.
This is the metaverse, all right? I bought the NFTs. I don't care. I'm going to use Lightning Bolt in the... It doesn't work. Like, it's not the same code. It's not the same game. If you play a metaverse game and you buy the NFT of a legendary on-fire sword, and then you sit down to play another game that says it takes place in the same metaverse, it's not even going to have the same coding. Like it's not
No.
going to work. You can't just take an item from one game and put it into another.
The metaverse, people think, oh, it's going to be all right. The metaverse will happen. In some capacity, it will happen.
Facebook.
But here's how it's here's going to be the problem. You're thinking of wildly different games that are all interconnected. Let's say Spore, Call of Duty, Fortnite, for better or worse, Earth 2. All of these are connected. You can do things, right? I have worked for 180 hours in Fortnite to get this legendary gun. I take it into Earth 2, and it's shit. It's worth nothing. So everything in Fortnite is now worthless because the other game gives it you instantly.
Which
What's
means
the point?
What you'd need to then do is, if game A has got a super ridiculous rare item that you get, or a really expensive NFT, and you take it into game B, you're pretty much guaranteeing that game B needs to make the item just as good, or more powerful, or more rare, or more expensive. Otherwise, there's no point doing it. But what happens if you can't buy that item in game B? What happens if you have to play RuneScape and you buy the NFT of a Bandos Godsword? God hope they don't sell it. And then you've got to play World of Warcraft and you've got a Bandos Godsword, but World of Warcraft aren't selling the NFT of a Bandos Godsword. They don't own it, but you have it, and it's better than any other sword in the game.
Yeah.
What a strange situation we would end up finding ourselves in.
The idea of a metaverse is fantastic. I love the idea of it. We've all watched Ready Player One, or I'd hope we all have. It's cool jumping from one game to another, but it's just another example. Let's say 2 car racing games exist in the metaverse. In one game, you've got the Porsche. In the other game, you've got the same Porsche. They're not going to be programmed the same, so you're just going to get the Porsche from the game where it's faster and cheaper.
Yeah, they're not programmed the same.
And the other game is now irrelevant. All it's going to be is a big circle jerk of developers devaluing other people's games to make theirs the dominant game. And it's going to just ruin the balance of everything.
What I have discovered is a lot of people who have watched Ready Player One or Tron or The Matrix and say that we are heading toward that kind of future are the same people that watched Terminator and said within 5 years we're going to have that.
Yeah.
Technology is always 5 years away, because as soon as you get closer to the technology, you realize there's a more efficient way of doing it and it's more complicated than you realized. A lot of people who are super into the idea of making something super complicated seem to be the kind of people who aren't actually aware of how complicated what they're trying to make is.
Yeah. We've got so many examples of that recently. Dreamworld, Earth 2.
That's it. That's the example.
Yeah,
it's all we need. Dreamworld. Yeah, okay. Cool.
About it.
Fair enough.
No, but it's just a lot of people showing great vision of something with absolutely no realistic way to achieve it.
Star Citizen is a good example. Star Citizen is a perfect example of feature creep. Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had this? Then they add that. Then, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had this? Then they add that. Then, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Star Citizen will make more money if it never releases, because as soon as it releases...
That is exactly their intention. They've even openly said it, pretty much.
Star Citizen is collective daydream, the game. And they're just going to keep going.
Just... Their tagline should just be, wouldn't it be cool if... Because I feel that is just the start of every meeting they have. Wouldn't it be cool if we could have mega ships that cost 40k and people can buy them in real cash?
And then people buy them, and then the metaverse happens, and you take that 40k ship into, I don't know, Spore. And just start ripping around in it. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, but Facebook are moving into the metaverse, aren't they?
Yeah,
Facebook have hired
a lot of companies
10,000 people. 10,000 people to make the metaverse.
I saw this article the other day, yeah. Epic Games is also doing the same. They have raised 2.4 billion to start production of the metaverse. And there's some conflicting rumors, but apparently Fortnite is the basis. Now, this is going to sound weird, but when you think about it, it makes total sense.
It makes sense. They've got everything else in it already.
Yeah, they posted a video that they retitled shortly after. And it was something to do with, they'd added Ferraris, like an actual Ferrari, into Fortnite. And the wording of it was basically, I know they always say, like, oh, Thanos has entered the metaverse and whatever. But they were saying that they were the first company to start seriously thinking about their involvement in the greater metaverse. And then that got rephrased to, Ferrari has joined the metaverse, like, about 45 minutes later.
It's one of those words that
I think that's what it's going to be.
It's a buzzword, isn't it? It's a really big buzzword. Metaverse just meaning collected series of video games.
Yeah, it just means everything's interconnected.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Like the Internet of Things, that's what they called it when you've
Yes.
got everything online. Your smart fridge is online, your watch is online, your lights are controlled by the internet. You come into your house and it's the Internet of Things.
The best way to describe it, and someone said this to me. I recently had an interview with someone from Earth 2, and I'll get into that in a minute. But
I would love to hear that.
They basically said to me, think of it as, I hate this phrase, the everything game. If anything you want to do, you can do it in the metaverse. Why would you go elsewhere?
Because variety is fun.
Yeah. But on that topic, I recently... Do you know Guidebook Gaming?
YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTubers that do... streamers. They do Earth 2, podcasts.
I'm sure I've watched some of their stuff.
Yeah, Nameless and Tech Ops. So I actually recently spoke to Nameless, and we had a 2-hour interview. In fact, I'm still trying to figure a way to edit it down where it doesn't look like I'm cropping out his answers in a different way. I want to keep as much of the answers as possible, but it's just such a long video. And I might release it as like an extra side thing that's just like an hour or two, to listen to. But we had a big conversation about Earth 2 and, YouTubers and streamers just jumping ship, because that is happening now. Like, it's factually proven people are doing it.
Please tell me that Aria Realty's still staying there, still fighting the bastion.
Aria, whose favourite phrase is not financial advice, not a financial advisor, has now moved his channel to financial advice.
Like his channel is officially listed as financial channel.
Check his channel out when you get a chance. It's just he's rebranded. He says he's moving into other stuff now.
Okay, is he still doing Earth 2 stuff?
There's nothing to cover. This is the issue that everyone's having. There is nothing to cover with Earth 2.
Has Sean not
since my
done
last
something?
video, like a month and a half, there is nothing.
So
they're
Sean
all
hasn't...
jumping ship.
Wow, I'm shocked. I'm amazed.
Shane has infuriated people. This was part of what the interview was about.
Okay.
He's been putting out tweets that are the most passive-aggressive things that are blatantly aimed at their content creators, because their content creators have started, and good on them, started to question things. They're like, you keep saying something big's coming, but nothing big ever comes. And he's like, oh, but I didn't tell you what that big thing was. And everyone's like, yeah, but if it has released, you lied, because nothing big has come.
How long do you think it's going to be until a lot of the Earth 2 people pop over and they watch your videos and my old videos and Kira's old videos and Big Fright
See that the writing was on the wall.
Sid Alpha's old videos and think, shit, we were told about this 6 months ago.
As soon as their bottom line is hurt. That is top and bottom of it. As soon as their bottom line gets hurt and their investment is no longer profitable, they'll move elsewhere and they'll start to realize that everything was going wrong from an early stage. And I mean, I said this to them, right? I don't do this to brag, but they said that they were adding in the bazaar where you can buy and sell things, but you need resources to do that. And I'm sat here thinking, you are a web-based eco-sim.
Yeah.
Me and my team could have put together this grand dream you have of economical exchanges through a web interface in a week.
I think
you are a year down the line and you still can't do it.
What a lot of people who are, I say playing, there's nothing to play, who are playing Earth 2, that they dislike you and they dislike me. And the reason for this is we have no reason to like the game. We have no reason to like the project. My priority has always been, and I hope it always maintains, as the gamer, the player. Yeah. I think you're focused on that as well, because I discovered your videos from your Dreamworld stuff where you were talking about the reality of development from the point of view of a developer and from the perspective of a player. And I think you, me, Kira, Big Fry, Sid Alpha, we put the player, or at least I hope we put the player, first. I have nothing to gain from tricking people. You have nothing to gain from tricking people.
No.
So if something comes out and it's legitimately good, I will tell people to play it because it's good. Because I want people to experience it. I think you will do exactly the same. Yeah,
100%. I don't care about anything other than the game. And this is the big issue with the metaverse right now.
Yeah.
The metaverse is supposedly all about the game. There is a big game. It's expansive. It's everything you could want.
It's not there. It's ephemeral. It exists in your mind.
When I'm looking into this metaverse and there is literally no resemblance of a game, I'm going to tell you there's no resemblance of a game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just bizarre. It's truly baffling to me. But so when I was speaking with Nameless, there's this thing that's been brought up about the passive aggressive tweets from Shane and saying things like, props to the few of you who are props to the majority of you that are patiently waiting, gathering and collecting your essence, and basically staying quiet.
I'm gonna have a look at Shane's stuff right now. It's the Shane Isaac, isn't it? On
that's the Shane Isaac, not to be confused with
not
any
just
other
any
Shane Isaac.
Shane Isaac. It's the Shane Isaac. I've got more followers than he has on Twitter.
I think I probably have, to be honest.
I don't know why. That just makes me feel really important.
Let me have a look. I need to polish my ego now. Let's have a look.
Props to those patient-focused players collecting and processing their ether. It's E-THER. Ether. We're working on it. We're partnering big, though not directly around the corner. It is coming. Yeah, that thing and more. Remember, changes for reasons. Stay safe.
Now, this is the issue. He's saying, yes, that thing and more. In the community, there is nobody who knows what that thing is. Everyone's just like, he's just hyping up nothing. And they called him out on it in voice chat, and basically, from what I was told by Nameless, it was basically just a butchering, like a public execution in voice chat. So he joined in after there was a bit of a stir-up. Like, people were getting angry about stuff, and he didn't realise this. He jumped in VC thinking everyone was having a friendly chat, and it was basically a pitchfork situation. It was just people ripping into him saying, okay, here, like, bringing up quotes. You said this a year ago.
Dibsy, thank you
for
the donation. Yeah, I think that Earth 2 is sharing a lot of similarities with a cult. Because Shane is very charismatic. He's remarkably... When people are lost in life and they don't necessarily have a purpose or a place or a reason, and you come along and you tell them they're important, they matter, they are about to be on the ground floor of something amazing, people are very easy to manipulate. All you need to do is find whatever any individual person wants and promise them it in abundance and tell them that you solely are responsible for it. It is a hype man. It is a cult leader. We have seen it happen again and again and again.
Yeah.
With confidence tricksters, and I believe that's what it is.
100%. I think we're going to see a lot more of this soon. But
do you mean Earth 2 specifically, or other scams like this?
Just in general, because this guy who has had nothing to do with game development, you know, he's admitted that himself.
Yep.
And it always seems to be the ones that don't understand, that think they understand. They'll come running in. Hey guys, we're doing this insane thing. And it's so insane that people start to believe it. And it's just such a weird trick of the mind that anyone's falling for it at all.
It's confidence. It's just confidence.
I think we're going to see the downfall of Earth 2 real soon.
I really hope
their content creators are ditching so quick. Nameless is done with Earth 2 content.
Okay.
There was lots of issues where, you know, the EPL, is it the names and stuff? There was loads of issues
you could buy
with
them,
that.
couldn't you? And they weren't reserved for certain people.
This is exactly it. So they promised reservations for certain content creators and then proceeded to not reserve them and then say that they were kicking up a fuss when they asked for it. And they're like, we promote the shit out of your game constantly. We're constantly promoting it for free. And arguably, they are the only reason that this game's getting traction.
Because, as horrible as it is to say, they believed Shane. That was their main problem. That was the original mistake they made. They believed him. And everyone with any amount of knowledge came out of the woodwork and said, don't believe this, because this can't happen the way it's being slated. And people, and this is how cults work, they wanted to believe it. They really wanted this to be true. So they acted. It is a perfect quote we've just got in the chat. It is easier to fool people than it is to convince them they've been fooled.
Oh God, yeah. It's the the sunk cost fallacy again. Even if it's a mental sunk cost, you believe in something, and it's like, well, I've been believing this for a year. It's going to take a year's worth of evidence to persuade me otherwise.
Yep.
And that's such a crappy way at looking at it. But I can't speak for Nameless, but I think he is starting to see the writing on the wall as well. He has sold all of his properties in Earth 2,
which means
75% off.
He would have had to pay tax to cash out as well. So he's actually willing to take a loss to get out of this system now.
Yeah, 75% below market value, sold everything.
And other people are going to buy it thinking they've got a good deal without realising they've just been passed the hot potato.
Yeah, they're holding the bag now. And he's realised the same thing that we've been saying for ages. If location in the game doesn't matter, why would I not go and buy the tile for 70 cents? Why would I go and buy yours?
Location's not going to matter anyway, because you can't have a globe-sized MMORPG. You can do it on Flight Simulator, but you've seen the graphics on Flight Simulator. I remember them saying that
mapping, just displacement.
I remember them saying that Earth 2 was going to have the size of Microsoft Flight Simulator, which, by the way, is a 1-to-1 scale recreation of the globe. It's incredible they've managed to do it, but it's going to have the graphics of Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the best-looking games of all time. So yeah, they're not going to have that. And they're going to start realising, I think you and me are quite old school in our approach to content. And that is, I tell people what I am going to do. It's not incredible. It's not groundbreaking. It's 3 YouTube videos a week. You tell people what you're going to do. Twitch stream. How many? You doing 3 videos a week now or pushing it to 2 videos a week?
3 would be pushing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working like 7 days now. It's ridiculous. I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, that's why I'm not. I enjoy my weekends.
Oh, I miss those. So you tell people what you're going to do. I tell people what I'm going to do. We do it, and some people give us money for it.
Yeah.
That's it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. It just, you want this, I will give you this. If you want to pay for this, that's fine. If you don't, totally cool. Have it all for free. It's not a problem. Yeah. That's it. That's the extent of monetary exchange in this. The more steps, I mean, correct me anyone in chat if you think I'm wrong, and Cal, feel free to correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I've always believed this. The more steps you add in between what you are paying for and getting it, the more likely it is to be a scam.
And I completely agree, because it should be as simple as, like you say, I deliver a product, you pay me for the delivered product.
That's it. You don't need to add steps in beyond this.
Yeah, Earth 2 has obscured it to the point now that even some of the content creators haven't got a clue how Ether works or anything like that. You give us money
and we give you e-dollars. You use e-dollars to buy this. This generates this. Yeah. They've got mobile phone game levels of systems going on here. And we should know. We've played a lot of crap mobile games to get where we are now.
Oh yeah,
they've honestly got mobile style monetization systems in the game. The more is the government a scam. Look, the government can't even work out how the government works. The government is the most efficient way to do something completely inefficiently.
Yeah, they've got so many black holes in their finances that nobody knows what's going on. Not even them.
Yeah, no one knows. No one knows at all. It's ridiculous. I think right now the UK government is like 8 months behind in paperwork. I was talking to my friends that work for the government, and they were saying that because of COVID and everything, they are 8 months behind with it. If no more paperwork was generated from now, it would take the government 8 months to catch up. But because more paperwork is being generated, that 8 month, it's not being caught up on, it's just being pushed away, pushed back. It's constantly behind. It's ridiculous. Only thing that stops the world being overtaken by bureaucracy is the inefficiency of bureaucracy. Yeah, I don't doubt that. If you want to really mess up a system, try and run it with bureaucracy through a government, and you will find that it just breaks really fast. It's like, someone explained this to me once, and I thought this was great. 1 woman can produce a baby in 9 months. Therefore, 9 women should be able to produce a baby in 1 month.
Yeah, if only the world worked like that.
And I thought, right, that doesn't work. And they're like, it's exactly the same with government systems. If it takes 1 person 1 year to do something, adding more people doesn't mean it takes less time. Sometimes it takes more time because you've then got to work out how to train these people and give them a job to do.
Yeah, It's absolutely spot on. A lot of people are so blind to common sense. It's actually kind of scary.
So let's loop this back round to New World once more.
Yes.
Because for anyone who's joining, by the way, we talk about games mostly. And we've been talking about New World, talking about the metaverse, talking about the idea of games all being connected, NFTs, a general incompetent development. What's worse at this point? Because for an MMORPG player, it's not looking great right now. Because imagine you come into the MMORPG scene right now, the online gaming scene. I've actually specifically stopped mentioning World of Warcraft and Blizzard in any of my videos.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them any more. I want to leave that saga in the past. I think that we can mention other games because World of Warcraft's dominance is failing and Blizzard's reality is being shown. So as a new player, you've got New World with all these exploits.
Yeah.
You've got Earth 2 convincing you it's going to be a metaverse. You've got every other person selling NFTs and crypto. You've got Facebook getting into the metaverse scene. It just seems like right now everyone is trying to not only have a slice of the pie, they're trying to convince you that there's a whole new pie about to be baked, and if you don't get in now, you're going to miss out.
We're seeing a digital gold rush at the moment. That's the best way I can think of putting it. Millions of promises, nothing in reality, and it's people. I think Kira said it in one of his videos. People are so hungry for something that they will take anything.
Yeah, that's the
risks that people will take that are blatantly obvious in front of them are still worth the risk because your other option is nothing.
See, I found this really strange theory. I developed it in university, and I want to see what you think about it. I knew a lot of very dumb people. I think we were all dumb at some point, and the smartest ones of us know that we still are dumb in many reasons. I am remarkably dumb in many aspects of life. I think I'm talented and clever in certain aspects, but I'm stupidly dumb in others.
Yeah.
When someone who doesn't realise how difficult something is to do tries to do something, you find this really strange paradox. I knew a lot of idiots who said they were going to start a business. You know, everyone knew someone in high school, someone in university, I'm going to start my own business. And you're looking at them thinking, you don't even know where the library is in university. Yeah. You know, you burned a pot noodle. I don't know how you did that, but you managed to do that. And they start a business. And when they get to their first roadblock, their first problem, smart people know how difficult something is to do before they start doing it. Dumb people don't know how difficult it is until they get to the first problem. And when they get to the first problem, they've only got two possible choices. Fail or find a way to get past the problem. So they fail forward. They find a way to get past it because it's the only problem. In their mind, that's the only problem that exists. They're not clever enough to think further ahead. So then they move on and they get to the next problem and they solve it, and the next problem, they solve it. And it's this really irritating fact where if you are really smart, you sit there at the start of any project and you can list everything that could possibly go wrong. And so you don't start the project because you know how complicated it's going to be to start.
Yeah.
But if you're dumb, you don't know what you don't know. So they start the project and they irritatingly succeed because they only ever have to deal with one problem at one time.
Yeah.
And I dislike
that's
this.
absolutely... It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because it means that the real people with real ideas don't get realised because... They know what the issues are ahead of time.
So what I'm seeing with this and how this links to it, I am seeing a lot of people who I know don't know much trying to convince me that crypto and NFTs are the greatest thing ever because someone has told them that they are the greatest thing ever and they must get involved in it right now. And they are 100% convinced it's correct because they cannot sit back and see the greater picture. And I'm getting a lot of people who obviously didn't do very well telling me that I'm an idiot for not investing.
Yeah, it's... speaking of the failing forward thing, did you see my last video on Dreamworld?
Not yet, but it's queued up.
At this point, I feel like I'm just herding a bunch of sheep with one leg. Because their last week's update is perfect for this failing forward. They added Discord webhooks into the game. they, for some reason, never, ever considered how to do this properly. So they, tripping over time and time again. First of all, they stored the credentials for the webhook in the client in plain text. So you can send anything, not just screenshots.
When you say Discord hook in the game, how does that work? How will that look to me as a player?
A webhook is basically best way to put it, a Discord account that only has a password, no username, right?
Okay.
And by using, you can send data to Discord, and then Discord knows what to do with it. So, for example, you know how I've set up the Group Iron Man drop tracker in my server, and it just posts that data under a random name. So they set it up with the intention of being able to press C to take a screenshot, and it would upload straight to the community page in their Discord.
Gotcha. Straight away.
And I was impressed. I was genuinely impressed, because I'm a verified Discord bot developer. So like I've gone through all these issues, and I've had So I was like, this is impressive. And then I realized it was impressive for all the wrong reasons. It packaged. I thought they were sending it off to a relay server, and then the relay server was attaching it to the webhook, sending it, right? No, they stored the credentials for the webhook, which is basically a Discord password and username, in the client.
So instead of giving themselves effectively like a fire break, where if bad things were being uploaded, they could turn off the server and stop it receiving data to Discord, they have given every client of Dreamworld, all 7 of them, the ability to send anything at any time to this community Discord.
Yes.
And how does it get displayed to the rest of the community? Like in the game, or just a regular Discord thingy?
In their Discord. It gets displayed in their community tab. Now, remember, there are tons of kids in there.
Yeah.
What if I wanted to send porn? There was nothing stopping me. I sent memes just to test that it worked.
I was going to say, you sound like you would maliciously comply by just sending a load of dumb stuff to show how stupid. What could possibly... This is the equivalent of having an unprotected printer in public.
It's worse, though.
If you ever had like a laptop in public where you're just like, hey, I'm just going to print off, Rick Astley's face 100 times on this random unsecured printer. And I love it when Cal says it gets worse, because he never lies.
No.
Tell me how it gets worse.
Infinitely worse. So, they had janked together lots of pre-bought assets that were not meant to be janked together.
You mean Dreamworld in general?
Yeah, but...
Yeah. It's just like a Lego set.
More to the point that this proves my point of why you don't do this. Why you don't just buy loads of assets and cram them together. Because when it comes to people's security, this is the icing on the cake. So to tell you this is the first time that I've gone ahead and contacted them before I launched a video to alert them to the problem because of how severe it was.
That shows a level of competence and professional respect.
Yeah, so what this issue was is there, for some reason unknown to me, it didn't save. Okay, no, it saved the image as image 0001 or something when you take it, and then it uploads it to the webhook, sends it straight to the server. But it doesn't upload it with the same name that the image had. It uploads it with the path to that image, including your first and last name, your user on Windows.
Like the path on your computer. So like when you open a file explorer, you've got C/document/whatever /whatever. So if you had your actual name or your computer's name, it would have that as well.
Yeah, and it did.
Right.
And I went through and found everybody's name of the moderators, all of their users, to test that it worked, because they were all listed there. Now, the way that you did this was by... What you could do is click on the image on Discord. You know where it says open in browser?
Yeah.
URL at the top, C/Callum Upton / the lot.
Yeah.
And depending on the device, if you're using a tablet or like a tablet hybrid, it would also have location data.
So you'd be able to get operating system, usernames, data. You'd be able to get metadata about the... And that's a... That's a privacy. That's an illegal privacy breach. That's not just, oh, we messed up here. That's actually against data protection laws?
So it's general practice that whenever you upload something, now Discord, when you upload an image off your computer, it cuts off the metadata, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing it through webhooks, you have to do that. You have to cut the metadata.
So normally it would upload to a webhook and it go to a third party, and that third party would then do that for you. Exactly. But it's not doing that. It's uploading effectively raw data that people can then mine for information.
Yeah. And it's the bit that blew my mind and was more troubling than anything else is when I'd said to them, hey, here are 3 security flaws. They said, we knew about 1 and 2. I was like, before or after release? And they're like, it just wasn't a priority to fix. At this point, I'm just sat there, mouth open, like...
It's not a priority.
Yeah.
That shows you right there the focus and the commitment that they have to making a game. They were more than happy to take everyone's money, but they're not more than happy to make sure everyone is safe. You can get sued, like, badly.
They could get massively sued. And someone, like, people said to me in the comments, they were like, oh, I'd have just uploaded the webhook credentials to 4chan. And I'm sat here thinking, that's why I told them ahead of time. Not to protect them.
Yeah.
But, like, their customers' names are out there. So, like, there's members of their community that are trans that have been, could have been outed because they've got their birth name on their file path and stuff. Just, you name it, stupid things. People whose names weren't publicly known are now, publicly known.
It seems that they are playing fast and loose with security here.
Yeah, it's literally, we've got a week to put something in the game. Just chuck anything together. They spend 2 days thinking of what to put in there, and 4 days, 5 days just cramming it in, and no time QA testing it. And that is shown by the fact that I can boot that up and within 3 minutes have a bug list this long to send off to them.
See, this is my worry, because obviously I'm downloading a load of crap MMORPGs for the worst MMO series, and this is why I want to stick mostly to Steam. Because if I can't find a game on Steam, I'm always curious and worried about what kind of security flaws it's going to have. Because people have said to me, hey Josh, why don't you download this random MMORPG from 2002 that I can only find on some dodgy Korean website that's going to be great for a video? And I think, that'd be great, but I also don't want to kill my PC.
Just do what I do. Have a virtual machine. Because virtual machines can now share GPU power.
Yeah, I'm going to have to set one up. I'm going to have to get you round sometime to help me set one up, because I'm not that good with the software stuff. If it's not super simple, if it's not dummy simple, I will struggle doing it.
Yeah, I can help with that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd appreciate that.
Easy.
So, from what we've seen so far, Dream World, pretty bad security. New World, pretty bad in-game health exploit and bug.
Pretty bad everything.
Why is this? Why is an online adventure game that's designed to be built to a multiplayer framework, why is this there? What would have needed to be done to stop New World going down this path?
Again, I think it's what you said, failing forward. They'll have a lot of people doing lots of prototypes, right? Someone will be like, oh, I've made this infrastructure just to get online working. Let's start to build some prototypes on it. And then they forget that guy said for you to test. And they just start building environments, combat. And then it comes back around and the guy's just like, I did tell you that it was a loose patch to get this working.
This is what happens when someone focuses on the size and the scale and the scope of a game without realizing that you need to focus on the intensity first. And what I mean by that is having 100 square kilometers in a game to go and explore means nothing unless there is something in every one of those kilometers.
Yeah.
If you have a really big game but it's empty, it's the same as going to explore the Sahara Desert. It sounds great. It sounds fantastic, but very quickly realize, it's just more sand. I really do feel that a lot of MMOs, Mortal Online especially, and New World, they've got big worlds, big landscapes with nothing in them.
Yeah. And a lot of them will use the excuse that, well, it's there to fill in as we go along.
Make it smaller then, and then add in when you've got stuff to put there.
Add new landmass, like attached to another landmass. Just don't keep doing that.
Yeah.
It's a big problem, and I don't know how they're going to fix it.
I really do think if you played The Witcher 3 yet.
I haven't.
Okay.
I've watched someone play it though.
The main city of The Witcher 3 is Novigrad, and Novigrad is really dense. Like, round every corner, there's a quest. Everyone you talk to has something for you to do. Every few seconds in Novigrad, something else happens, or you can hear something, or you can see something, or you go and do something. It's incredibly densely packed. You can spend, 10 hours in Novigrad and have experienced and done 100 different things, despite the fact it's actually a very small area. And that's what I think games need to be. They need to be dense. RuneScape does it really well. RuneScape is not that big as an actual map goes, but it's really dense. It's just, everything is compacted. And I feel that new games now, they make this big song and dance of how big their map is, but they forget to tell you how much stuff is in the map. It's like with Ubisoft games. Hey, you can go and explore, 400 different locations in this new Ubisoft open world sandbox game. But once you've actually explored, like 10 locations, you realise the other locations are just different versions of this.
Yeah, it's for me the best example is it's like buying a big, a big pack of Walker's crisps just to find out that 90% of it's air.
Yeah.
It's like, great, the bag is bigger, but the thing I want isn't there.
Yeah,
There's not more of that thing.
Wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. That's the way that people put it. Link's Awakening is a very dense game. Oh my god, the old Zelda games on Game Boy were so dense. When you look at the Legend of Zelda games on the Game Boy, Link's Awakening DX, what else have you got? Then there was A Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, the Minish Cap, all those kind of things. Small games. A lot in them.
And this is where people get sidetracked with it, because people look at that and they're like, oh, that's great. It's a small thing, a small area with so much stuff. Imagine if it was a big open world. And it's like, yes, but you wouldn't just be multiplying the size of the land. You'd need to multiply the amount of activities in it. And I think that is where people just fall short with it. They just don't know what they want.
People think big game means lots of content. It doesn't. Sometimes it means repetitive content. So when you take something small, like, one city, and you need to mine it. I was always told this. Your first idea, not yours specifically, but anyone's in general, is normally crap. Anyone's first idea is normally terrible if you want to take it as a finished piece, but it's really good as a foundation. So you need to mine any idea for content. If you're trying to write a show, mine it for comedy. If you're trying to write something, mine it for this, mine it for that. Mine the thing for content. So if I gave you one city in one game, I would expect someone to sit down and say, right, how much can I pack into this city?
Yeah.
How many skills, how many quest lines, how many adventures, how many people? And when that city, and only when that city is full, do you expand out a bit. And you make a forest, and then you pack the forest full of stuff, and then you expand a bit, and you pack more full of stuff. Develop the idea fully. What I think we're seeing now is people do that thing where, we all did it when we were kids. You get a piece of paper, you draw a huge landmass, you name it your own fantasy island or fantasy name or whatever it is, you come up with a backstory, you put a city there, and you make stuff, and then you build it. And game developers are doing this and then realising, oh, hang on, crap, I've just built like 200 square miles of game with very little in it.
RuneScape did this recently. Oh, I say recently, it's a few years back with Zaya.
Oh, the amount of stuff.
Zaya was just...
It was huge.
It was a huge landmass, almost the size of, the original game in RuneScape, and they wanted to expand by doing that. That's great. More things to do.
There's very little
but
there.
They'd spread. There was 5 or 6 different houses on, as in like clans.
Yeah.
They'd spread them all round, but there was nothing to do.
I
remember the day of launch, and I looked at it, and I was just like, why am I here?
Yeah, walking from those clans was really time-consuming as well. And then you realise there's very little to do there. Then they added in a quest. There's the quest line where you've got to get the enchanted feather quill and go and talk to everyone.
Yes.
But it's a case of a huge, big landmass with very little actually there. And people say to me, like, oh, there's Slayer dungeons there. Yeah, but that's the only reason you then go there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's... Come up with the content first, build the land to fit your content, and then expand the land when you get new content.
Yeah. density and replayability. The start of Dark Souls does this really well. Dark Souls 1, first half of the game, super dense, super connected, shortcuts, back on yourself, backtracks, cut-throughs, incredibly dense. Second half of the Dark Souls 1, pretty linear.
Yeah.
And very open. Have you played Dark Souls 1? Yeah.
I've played a bit of it, yeah.
So Undead Burg, amazingly well designed. Early part of the game, super thematic, super complex. End of it with Lost Izalith, huge area of lava with a path through it, and the same dinosaur enemy copy pasted 4 or 5 times, which sucks.
It
They
does.
ran out of time.
Yeah, it just doesn't really work, does it? Any of these concepts?
Do you think what happened with New World is it ran out of time? Do you think it got to a point where it had built its PvP, it had built its whole taxation system, it had built its player-written stories section, and then they thought, oh, bugger, there's actually very little else here?
I think what's happened with New World is they've changed what the game is so many times. You know, it's a full PvP sandbox. Oh, now it's a faction, but okay, now it's a Holy Trinity style. I think they've reiterated so many times that CEOs have just gone, you need to release now. Like, you stop pissing around, just release the game.
Do you think it's a pizza with everything on it, but not enough of any one ingredient to actually be classed as that type of pizza? So it's like, it's got 2 slices of pepperoni, but then it's got a bit of meat, but then it's got a single pineapple chunk somewhere, then it's got like a bit of lettuce, and then for some reason there's a cookie melting in the corner. It's like, it's got everything. It's just not got enough of anything to be classed as that.
So you could say it's like a watered down metaverse.
It is. It's a watered down metaverse all by itself. Amazon have started. They've made the new world. That's what they've done. And they pushed it back and back and back and back and back. Yeah, and no one decided to make the game engine work.
Yeah, it's just it's a big game that's got an identity crisis.
I think we've managed to hash out... Oh yeah, we haven't even approached NFTs and Steam yet, have we? Or the whole blocking off crypto.
No, there's not really too much to say on that. It's a bizarre decision.
I think they just don't want to be responsible for any legal problems.
I think it's because it circumvents... apparently, it's the rule that items in-game can't have real-world value. That's what they used as an excuse, but... I don't think it's really that. I think it's that it circumvents their purchasing.
Yes, because also if Steam...
What are they going to do? Tax you crypto?
If Steam have trading cards, and the Steam trading cards end up becoming a type of NFT, or a type of crypto, or a type of any kind of, tradable currency, they don't want competition. They're either doing it to avoid liability with a legal problem, or they're doing it to avoid competition.
I definitely think it's competition. It's to me, it's very much a Apple versus Fortnite situation. You're making a lot of money off this thing, or you will make a lot of money off this thing, but none of that money's coming through us, and we don't get to skim off the top.
Yeah.
That's genuinely what I think it is.
Yeah, and they don't want, because if the money did go through them, and if they can't benefit from it, and if there's then any kind of legal challenge or legal problem, they will be involved in a legal process because they are... the hosting site, and legal processes cost anyone money, but they've not benefited. So it seems to me like Steam banning it is because they will get all of the negatives with none of the positives if they allow this.
And I think this is why Epic Games has run in and said, hey, we'll support you, because don't forget, they were victims of this with Apple.
And do you think Epic Games are going to work out a way that every single crypto or every single NFT in any game that they host is going to pay them taxes in some way?
No, I don't think they will. I think they'll let it slide. I genuinely do.
Okay.
Because here's the thing: if they've gathered 2.5 billion to build the metaverse, they're going all in on crypto and stuff. They want these games to have a healthy marketplace on the Epic Games Store, because potentially they could reach out to them and be like, hey, you know how Steam wouldn't let you have NFTs? Come plug into the metaverse with us.
You know how it was the console wars when you had Sega with its Master System and its Sega Saturn, and then you had like the Dreamcast and the GameCube and the PlayStation and the Xbox, and I think we can all safely say the console wars has ended in a 3-way tie between PlayStation, Xbox, and whatever random thing Nintendo want to try and put out this year.
Yeah.
Whether it's like the Wii or something like that. With PC,
they've all got a place for a different thing.
And PC is just sitting off to the side, just chilling, emulating everything.
Yeah, doing the lot, yeah.
But I think we're going to see like the metaverse wars. We're going to see Facebook trying to create it. We're going to see Epic trying to create it, Steam try and create it, Earth 2 try and create it, and no one individual metaverse, because all these things are going to be developed with
walled gardens.
Different coding languages, different ways they're making it, different items, different languages, different engines, and no one is going to want to bow down to somebody else's engine.
No, art style's the lot. It's just every metaverse is. Here's the thing: when it comes to metaverses, there will be a metaverse. That's the point. It is the metaverse. Just one of them. Each of them is going to want to be the metaverse. You can't have 4 different metaverses. You are either the metaverse or you're not.
Ironically, this actually matches up with New World quite thematically, because New World was about the Spanish conquistadors trying to take over the world. We are watching the digital land rush, which is the equivalent of watching the Roman Empire attempt to take over everything. We are watching the digital equivalent of the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the British Empire, the Russian oligarchs, all trying to create the dominance within digital space.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
Who wins here? Because I don't think, and I think you and me are very much on the side of gamers and players. I don't think gamers and players benefit much from this.
Gamers and players are not going to benefit from this.
And that's
not in the way they think they're going to.
That's why I'm against it. People always say, are you against progress? No, not at all. I love progress. I'm against not having good games to play. I'm against gamers not being respected for their time. I'm against good games not being monetized well.
I told Nameless this in the chat we had. A lot of people don't understand my theory on this, on how I think the metaverse, or how I think Earth 2 is going to end.
Okay.
Okay, how do you think Earth 2 is going to end? What do you think will be the nail in the coffin?
I think either another company will come along and reach the same stage they've reached faster and then surpass them, such as Facebook doing whatever it's going to do. I think it might be a slow creeping death where the players suddenly realise that the game they've been promised is still 10, 20 years ago at most. Someone else comes along and does it bigger or better, or the people in charge, such as Shane, just leave.
Yeah. They're all pretty valid. Mine is that, like you say, I think Epic Games is going to come along and do what they've done in a year in less than a month.
Probably.
Because the features that they are providing are bare bone, basic, like framework of anything. And they're bragging about them. Like, oh, we've got server-side variables for your Ether. Cool, you lied and said it was crypto. It's not. So when Epic, who, have their own amazing game engine that is constantly being pushed forward and developed based on their needs, like most of the features we have in Unreal Engine 4 is because of Fortnite. They needed them for Fortnite. So that's why we have them. So for them to sit back and say, right, we're building a metaverse and everyone's going to have a toolbox to do that, which is their game engine, because it's going to have to be built for, for purpose. What competition is there? These guys are building in Unity that doesn't even know what a bloody metaverse is.
Yeah, I see these as digital castles. If you go back to the medieval ages of England with the lords and the gentry and the idea of a standing armed army and hostile takeovers of land, I really do think we're in the digital version of seeing that. Except this time, you want players, you want consumers, you want customers paying to be involved in your exclusive thing. And we're going to start seeing exclusive games, like how PlayStation has PlayStation exclusives and Xbox has Xbox exclusives. We're going to see metaverse exclusives.
Metaverse exclusives, yeah. And this is already really showing, like, the writings on the wall with this. Snoop Dogg was invited to do a concert in Sandbox, I think. And you can only go to that concert and see him live if you had a Snoop Dogg VIP NFT. And these were going for absurd amounts of money, more than an actual concert ticket.
Okay, so isn't that actually is quite nice, because it ties up with saying that NFTs are ticket stubs.
Yeah.
So someone buys a Snoop Dogg NFT to go and watch the concert digitally.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they can then sell that NFT to somebody else who wants it. Just like selling a ticket stub would be. They haven't seen the concert, they've got the NFT.
Exactly. They've basically recreated the Ticketmaster problem now. Everyone's just circle jerking these tickets before the event.
Is it where, and this is what I think, NFTs are only valuable if other people want them to be valuable.
Yep.
You are literally creating an entire marketplace based on demand backed by nothing.
Yeah.
That's risky. That's really risky.
Yeah. I mean, in this case, it does have something tied to it. Viewing of, it's a digital ticket, right?
Yeah.
Viewing of a concert. But the fact that people know that other people want them more literally recreates the problem that Ticketmaster has been trying to, circumvent for the last couple of years. Yeah. People are buying them to resell them on.
Yeah.
So the people who actually attended this, they paid thousands to get a ticket to sit where I am now.
Yep.
Looking at basically Minecraft.
Yeah.
With your headset in, listening to a pre-recorded concert of Snoop Dogg. Do you know what I could have done? I could have opened a tab on YouTube and gone and watched it.
I don't think anyone is buying these NFTs because they want them. They're not buying them because they want to see Snoop Dogg. They're buying them because they want to sell them because they think someone else wants them more. It is
literally
economy.
Stocks with law. Yeah. It's stocks with law. That's all it is.
It's a speculation economy of, hey, I've got this thing, someone else might... It's the tulip crush. Hey, I want tulips, you want tulips more, I'll buy this. It's pointless. It's Beanie Babies. It's digital Beanie Babies. And the problem is the people that are telling me, the people that are all over Twitter telling me to do this are the people that didn't live through the Beanie Baby craze.
Yeah. Maybe we're stupid, Josh. Maybe we should start the, what was it, the Strupton coin or whatever we were calling it.
Yeah, the Strife Upton coin, the Strupton coin. It'll have no value. Fuck it, I'll sell an NFT right now. Hang on. I've got a Grim Flayer Magic the Gathering card that I printed off out of paper because I use it to test proxy decks when I'm building a deck. Turns out it's not very good. And I'm just going to write the letters NFT on the back of it. Hang on.
And I tell you what, Josh, after this podcast, I will get you that NFT online ready for people to buy.
It says NFT on it. It says on the back right there. There we go. It just says...
That's beautiful.
If I can get it up. An NFT.
Oh, there. We got it, yeah.
We got it. Fantastic.
Lovely.
All right. This is an NFT. Whoever buys this NFT... Callum, do you want this?
Yeah.
He's free and he's still like, no.
I mean, I'm thinking of the resale value.
He's thinking of the resale value. $5 for it. Red Sky's just offered $5. All right.
$5. Okay. We've got 10k in our chat.
This is now worth $5. 10k. Done. Straight away. Fantastic. Yep. And then what will happen is, I won't, and this is how NFTs work, I won't give you this. You don't get this physically. I'll still have it. But you can tell other people that you bought it. And then if someone says to you, it'd be really cool if I can buy that, you can sell the rights to it to them. I'll still have the thing. I'll still got it. You can't have it. But you can tell someone else they've got it. The problem happens when this chain has continued so much, and then the last person to have the NFT realizes that nobody else wants to buy it.
Yeah, it's a risky game of just flipping something that really doesn't have value. Like, have you seen the Batman statues?
I have not.
They made collector's edition, I think it was 500 or 100 black Batman statues that are all just completely like marble black, and they're really cool. They're like this big. Okay. They then created an NFT version, and the NFT version had, I think, 1,000 or... It was more than the physical one.
Okay.
It's worth 10 times the physical one. For a picture of the thing you can physically get.
Like, I'd buy the actual thing if it's, you know, not super duper expensive, being made of marble or whatever, but you display the thing. This is dumb.
Some guy has got the NFT and has erected a big screen with it spinning on there.
Right. I would have no problem with this if everyone involved just admitted that it is a speculation economy game. That's all it is. It's a game. You create an image, you sell an image with the hope that someone else can buy it off you for more. It's a game, and that's fine. If everyone involved in this whole process just admitted that it is a big game, all right, cool. You play. I don't want to play.
Yeah.
I tend to not take any risks unless I know for a fact that I'm going to win at something. I'm very cautious like that. You want to have a big game of something? Cool. Go for it.
Perfect in my chat. Hot potato, but the hot potato gets hotter each time it's passed on.
Yeah.
That is exactly it.
That is a really good way of putting it. So I've got no problem with anyone telling me that, they want to get involved in crypto and NFTs. That's fine, but it's a game. That is a game, and I don't want to play because I don't want to take the risk of failing when I could do something that I know is relatively risk-free.
We all know the final outcome. We don't know when it is, though. That's the thing. The final outcome is somebody buys it for such an amount that they can't flip it on.
Yeah.
And then they keep it, or they sell it for way below floor price, and that's now a dead NFT. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's basically who's got the biggest balls. That's all it is.
That's why they go, all paper hands, all diamond hands.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
If the thing that you were holding had any actual value, you wouldn't need paper or diamond hands. You'd just be able to mathematically work out when you would sell it on.
Yeah, like if you sell me that mug that you've got of me, I would buy it for a price. There wouldn't be any diamond hands, paper hands. I'd buy the mug because I want a bloody mug.
I will send you the mug.
Yes.
I'll send you... No, I will send you a mug designed to look exactly like that, but it won't be that mug because that mug is the original. You can have the NFT of the mug.
You can send me the NFT of it. Actually, right, Josh, we're going to make an NFT of that mug, and you can get all proceeds to get you that webcam.
This is the NFT out of spite, isn't it? You made an MMO out of spite.
I already did that.
You did. You made a marble game out of spite. It's going to be Spite Coin. That's the next one that's going to be.
Yes! Josh Spite Hayes.
I think just go with Spite Coin, because that way you can be linked to it as well.
That's true. Should we make Spite Coin?
Cal, if you have... I have no idea how to do that. I'm an old guy.
I'll do it, and we'll just put our face on either side of the coin.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. God, it's going to be a thing. It has value. I will literally buy one. Don't! Stop!
Josh, I had the same problem. I made this NFT and I was like, it's worthless. There's 25 of them, but if you for some reason want to pay $40 for it, here's the link. And someone goes, I bought 3 of the worthless spinny boys. And I was just like, why?
If any of you are in the chat right now thinking, why the hell are people buying NFTs or crypto? This is why. Me and Cal have just said we'll make a joke coin called Spite Coin. Someone has said, ooh, I'll buy it for a couple of quid. I bet you they would. I bet you if you made it and we looked, we'd make about 10 quid. I bet that'd happen. And then everyone in the chat would go, oh, I can't believe people are doing all this crypto and NFTs. It's because people buy them.
Yep.
Oh, God. I don't want to do this. No,
no,
we're not doing it because, I mean, you can do it. I'm not stopping you doing it, but I'm not going to do it simply because I don't want to feel responsible for selling shit to people. I want to make good videos. Right now, I'll make acceptable videos.
I'm going to make acceptable videos and sell shit to people. So
that's fine.
That's the price I'm going to pay, Josh.
That's Cal. That's what he wants to do. At least you guys know. At least you know we're honest with you. That's the most important thing. We are honest. You know what you get with us. That's the important. So NFTs of your videos. Right, Cal, I have got to head off and get my beauty sleep, unfortunately. Thank you for talking to us about New World.
No problem. You're very welcome.
NFTs and crypto and RuneScape prayer flicking. And I'm going to be honest, we went off on a lot of tangents today.
I think this has been the most tangent-packed episode, to be honest, hasn't it? We're making up for last week being off.
Yeah, we apologise for being off last week. We both had headaches, like separately. We didn't do anything together. We just both happened to have headaches at the same time. Can you imagine that?
Well, you've said that. Now you've just started it off.
That's a clip, right? There's already fan fiction. We can't pretend there isn't.
Yeah, it started up again in my Discord. It's horrific.
Oh, has it? I will read it.
I advise you don't.
I will make an audio book. I'll make an audio book NFT of it. Right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. It's been great. Callum, how's everyone been over on your side?
It's been very good, actually. I've ended up with most of your viewers. Well, not say most of your viewers. A good portion of your viewers. When you had a power cut, my alerts for followers just exploded.
If you aren't following...
I was like, where have they come from?
If you're on my stream and you aren't following Callum, change that, okay? The guy's good. He's working. We get on well. Oh, Cal, have you got any... Did you hear back from Manscaped?
Yes, they've sent our packages out. Did you know what? They sent us £100 worth of stuff each.
They did. I was just laughing at the word package in the Manscaped sentence.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, we got contacted by Manscaped, and they said, hey, can we sponsor the Tangent Tavern? And me and Cal kind of replied. Well, Cal replied saying, we can't endorse you unless we've used your products. We don't know you're any good. So Manscaped went, yep, no problem, we'll sort that out. And they've sent us both like £100 gift package. Package again. I don't know whether it's going to be any good, but I am looking forward to
I'm
getting the free
excited
stuff.
to try it out. I'm going to be like a baby seal sliding down the stairs.
With the special oil.
With the special oil. My advertisement segment is literally just going to be me, completely naked, shaved, and just across the wooden floor. That's going to be me.
And then just
They'll
the
probably
logo.
never sponsor us again.
Manscaped. They won't. They won't. I mean, once we've got the stuff, mate, what can they do? You know?
Yeah, right.
Once they've got the stuff, what are we going to do? You know, they don't know. Right, anyway.
Just like, I hate it here.
Guys, your chat does not want to be here anymore.
No,
guys,
Josh, look what you've done. You've caused seizures now with all the follow alerts.
Oh, yeah, if you follow Callum, that's why his lights flash. When people donate, he gets a certain colour. When people sub, he gets a colour. When people follow, his lights flash. And he set this up because he thinks he's clever. So if you watch now, you're going to see just endless light flashing because people are not going to stop following him. See? That's what
there's
happens.
a back queue going on for quite a while.
There's a back queue. So for the next stream, what we need to do is get like 100 people at the start to follow Cal. So he has to do the entire podcast with flashing lights.
Wow, flashing lights.
You set this up. Right.
I did.
Anyway, we have got to head off. Thank you very much for joining me. Cal, thank you for your time as always. Ladies and gents, this will be on YouTube eventually. Cal's super busy with other stuff, so we'll get round to it as soon as we can. What have you got coming out this week, Cal?
Got Dreamworld video tomorrow, investigating whatever nonsense they did last week. Other than that, I haven't actually got a plan for anything. I'm just kind of winging it.
Brilliant. Welcome to my world. We'll make something up as we go along.
It's going to be a wake up on video day. Decide some at random. Put a video out.
That's what we do. Thank you for your time, guys. You have a great night. Take care of yourself. Good night, and God bless.
Yeah.